Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're going to explore a hidden psychological trap that almost everyone falls into, the relentless pursuit of self-improvement. We are constantly told that to change our lives, we need a complete, massive overhaul. But honestly, that pursuit of absolute perfectionism usually just paralyzes us. So today, we're breaking down the science of how to bypass our brain's biological resistance to change, all by using an incredibly simple, time-based hack.
Be honest with yourself for a second. Does improving yourself feel like it just takes way too much time? We set these massive, towering goals, but there's a real biological reason why they usually fail. When we look up at the summit of a huge goal, our brain perceives the immense energy costs required to get there. It immediately triggers a state of cognitive overload and a biological threat response. Our dopamine plummets, paralysis sets in, and we just put it off until tomorrow. Okay, let's dive into this because there is an evidence-based way to bypass that overwhelm entirely. Now, what's really fascinating about this concept is how it reframes our entire approach to ambition. This is the core thesis of our explainer today, the 2-minute rule. It's the incredibly powerful idea that literally any big goal can be broken down into smaller, bite-sized tasks. This isn't just some cheap productivity trick. It's a proven way to lower the psychological friction of starting a new habit. By keeping the task under 2 minutes, you completely bypass the brain's threat response to massive lifestyle changes. This allows you to build real momentum and significantly improve your well-being, without triggering that biological resistance.
So, here's our roadmap for today. First, we just covered the 2-minute rule. Next, we'll look at fueling your physical body. Then, expanding your mental horizons. And finally, emotional health and community.
Section 1. Fueling your physical body. Building the foundation.
You simply cannot tackle massive psychological goals if your biological machine isn't running properly. Let's start with a number we've all heard a million times, but almost universally ignore: 8. This represents the heavily neglected recommendation to drink 8 glasses of water a day. Chronic low-grade dehydration actively impairs your cognitive function and messes with your dopamine regulation. It makes your brain feel sluggish, causes hidden headaches, and triggers unexplained fatigue long before your physical body even registers that you're thirsty.
Getting those 8 glasses a day isn't easy if you aren't actively thinking about it. But here's the secret. We can hack our own habits using something called availability bias. This brilliantly illustrates an evolutionary adaptation. You see, we're biologically wired to consume whatever is immediately in our environment to conserve energy. Keeping a very large, full glass of water right near your desk constantly exploits this biological laziness for a positive gain. Sure, you'll definitely have to go to the bathroom quite a bit more, but the upside is a substantial, highly noticeable difference in your daytime productivity. Principle number 2 for the physical body is swapping out processed meals for whole foods. The general rule is super simple. The fewer the ingredients, the more nourishing the food. When we consume items packed with chemicals, dyes, and lab-created ingredients, we're basically eating food specifically designed to hijack our dopamine receptors. This leads to massive energy crashes that actively sabotage our self-discipline. Whole foods like fruits, vegetables, eggs, and nuts stabilize your entire system so you don't feel sluggish and unproductive.
Let's move to and see how this builds into our next phase. Section 2. Expanding your mental horizons. Upgrading your mindset.
Once the physical machine is fueled up, we can start leveling up our mindset. Our third principle is practicing daily gratitude. The human brain naturally operates with a negativity bias to keep us safe from perceived threats. It's always looking for what's wrong. But by keeping a small journal next to your bed and writing down everything you were grateful for right before sleep, you actively rewire your neural pathways. Over time, building this notebook forces the brain to scan your life for positive data, breaking the exhausting cycle of chronic cortisol release.
So the really crucial point here is that this positivity actually primes you for success and activates the brain's goal-seeking mechanisms. This is entirely rooted in the neuroscience of the reticular activating system, or RAS, in your brain. Think of the RAS as a filter for your subconscious mind. Priming it with gratitude literally alters what information your brain allows you to perceive in your environment. People who are actively primed with gratitude are significantly more likely to reach their goals simply because their biological filter is tuned to spot opportunities.
Moving to Principle 4. Pick up a book and cut down on screen time. Keeping lots of books physically around you isn't just about that availability bias we talked about earlier. It's also about environmental design shaping your very identity. Seeing 4 personality textbooks sitting on your desk visually reinforces your identity as a learner. It drastically lowers the psychological barrier to picking one up and researching, rather than just reaching for a phone and mindlessly scrolling.
Principle 5 is for those of us who prefer audio or visual inspiration.
The internet is an absolute treasure trove of free, world-class knowledge. You've got TED Talks on happiness and urban planning, all the way to full university lectures on biology and psychology. Instead of spending 2 minutes seeking cheap, addictive dopamine through social media, you can queue up a video and replace it with high-quality, effortful dopamine. It perfectly combats the hidden traps of our modern digital environment.
Section 3. Emotional health and community. Connecting with others and yourself.
This is where long-term growth is truly sustained. Principle 6 is incredibly powerful, and it's this: forgive someone. Look, we have all been wronged, but holding on to a grudge keeps your nervous system in a perpetual state of low-grade fight or flight. It exhausts your cognitive resources and prevents actual self-improvement. Letting go of a grudge is a surprisingly small gesture that releases a massive burden of stress, anxiety, and negative feelings. It quite literally frees your mind from severe, long-term psychological consequences.
Principle 7 addresses a kinda harsh truth. It is biologically and psychologically incredibly difficult to accomplish your dreams entirely alone. Humans are deeply social creatures. Our nervous systems literally co-regulate with those around us. Taking just 2 minutes to hop online and find supportive communities through Meetup or Facebook groups isn't just casual networking. Whether you're connecting with writers in Philadelphia or real estate investors in Austin, you're actively building a biological safety net to boost your mood and sustain your motivation.
Finally, principle number 8 brings us completely full circle. Congratulate yourself. The darkest trap of the entire self-improvement industry is that it can so easily become an addictive cycle of self-criticism and toxic perfectionism. We're always looking for the flaw, right? Always searching for the next thing to fix. Taking a moment today to reflect on the ways you have actively improved your well-being acts as a vital psychological circuit breaker to that perfectionism. Ultimately, as the research perfectly highlights, positive reinforcement will encourage you to keep going and keep growing, even when that reinforcement comes from within. The more you consistently contribute to your self-improvement, even through tiny, 2-minute actions, the faster you and the rest of the world will start to see the amazing results.
So that massive life overhaul? It's basically a myth. Lasting identity shifts just don't happen in a day. They happen in 2-minute increments. So what 2-minute action will you take today to completely rewire your tomorrow? Thanks for watching this explainer.